लोग तो मिनट से पहले आपको डिफेम करने लगते हैं.
Of stuff that is coming in is from people who don't have any particular ID or like they are trolls, right? They're trolls, and sometimes these trolls are paid to do their job. They're bots.
द ब्रांड सायरा शाह. भाई हमको
Okay.
बताया गया है कि वो ब्रांड से भी ज्यादा अहमियत रखते हैं.
No, I'm getting humbled. I think, but it was my first electoral run in 2022. It was for a by-election. And so my party nominated me, and I defeated two major political parties. It's not for the faint-hearted. I wear saris every second day, but Rashi, I also wear jeans. I also wear skirts, right? So now there can be someone who can just, pull out a picture from, like, say, Instagram, where probably I'm on a beach and I'm wearing shorts, right? And oh, what the shorts pehenti hai. They feel that you cannot stand up for issues just because of your dress or wear good clothes. Why do you need to look frumpy? Why do you need to wear chappal and look frumpy to be a politician? I think that is a thing कि जो आप हैं वही दिखाइए. कोई और ढकोसला करने की जरूरत नहीं है, कोई और ड्रामा करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि आप क्योंकि अभी राजनीति में हैं तो आपको एक अलग छवि दिखानी है.
Hello and welcome to Rabbi Rashi Foundation. Saira Shah Halim is a writer, educator, and a social activist who is on a mission to get young Indians to celebrate diversity and inclusion. A TEDx speaker, Saira spent 17 years in the corporate sector in senior training and development roles before activism and politics beckoned. She is regularly invited on national television to speak on policy and governance. सायरा, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है.
थैंक यू सो मच राशि. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपने इतने अहम मौके पे मुझे बुलाया, सो वी कैन चैट एंड टेक दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन फर्दर.
जी. ओके, टू स्टार्ट विद सायरा, सबसे पहले तो आप हमारे सारे लिसनर्स को अपने बारे में बताएं. टेल अस अबाउट योर जर्नी एंड द ब्रांड सायरा शाह. भाई हमको
Okay.
बताया गया है कि वो ब्रांड से भी ज्यादा अहमियत रखते हैं.
No, I'm getting humbled. I think that's very kind of you, but I think everybody is a brand in their own way. So, okay, let me start from the onset. My father was in the army, so we were brought up all over India. Like होता नहीं है, हर 2 साल के बाद तबादला हो जाता है, you get transferred because it's defense thing. So I was brought up in army cantonments all across India. And then somewhere down the line, my parents felt that my education is getting hampered. So my brother and I both were sent to a boarding school in Lawrence School, Lovedale, Ooty. And I have an older sister, and I've got two brothers after me. So that's how it was. So we were four siblings being brought up in a pretty disciplined, household where if your father's sitting on the table, you have to be present. There's no way you can be lounging about doing your own thing. If the father rings the doorbell, the TV has to be switched off and you have to like pour deep into your books, that kind of a thing. So I think the kids, of the 80s and 90s, that our generation, we were probably the first ones who have seen everything. We have seen Doordarshan, right? Like the black and white days, we've seen color TV coming in. So color TV came into a house in 85. That's the year my youngest brother was born. And it was a big deal, like the father buying a Maruti Suzuki. So we have to understand this was like the 80s, say about 85, 86, when even buying a Maruti was a big deal in those days. And even having a color TV was a big deal. So I think we're the only generation where our parents told us, "Jaake bahar khelo, go out and play," and nobody knew where you were. Like we used to come back before sunset. It was very safe because army cantonments, you can be playing somewhere in Tanga Valley, in in Arunachal. Even Delhi used to be relatively safe. So, we used to be cycling and nobody knew where we were cycling. We used to like literally go out of the gates and, from Arjun Vihar, go to Pratap Chowk or, somewhere. I'm just recounting Delhi. So it was like that. Then boarding school also, it is hard, okay, because it breaks you as a person and you form a very different character. So when you come back, like, when my parents got me admitted, it was just a month before the summer vacation. So I remember traveling by train, and it was a very elite boarding school where they were children from really affluent families who came and studied there in Ooty, and we were defense kids, of course. But our principal, what he did is he was a great equalizer. So what he did is he banned Adidas and Reeboks and all the fancy shoes and tucks. So nobody knew, what economic background or what background you're from. So he made it a mandate that you have to wear these Bata super stride shoes. When you and evening earlier, you could wear your Levi's and your those designer brands. So what he did is he banned all that. Tuck was banned completely. You could just a limited tuck that was allowed, so we used to carry that like a cake and some biscuits and all that. So, and then what he did is he did a very nice thing that evening the prep classes, like we used to wear, the girls used to wear fancy, even the boys, because it was a co-ed school, wear really fancy branded clothes. So it became a mandate that you have to wear uniform even during prep. So it used to be like a pink shalwar kameez. For 1 week, we used to wear it. Then we used to give it for a wash. And then the next week, we used to wear a blue one. So similarly for the boys section of our school, even they had a prep dress. So that way it was a great equalizer. But within a month, I could see a remarkable change in me. I was a pretty shy kid, and when I came back home, your everything about you changed. Your confidence, you're traveling alone by train from, because we were studying OT, so we used to go by bus, go down to Coimbatore. From Coimbatore, we used to catch a train to go to Delhi. So when my parents received us at the station, New Delhi station, they firstly noticed that I've grown probably a little bit, even in that 1.5 months. That is one change they saw. And of course, you're smart enough because the RDS, the hardships that you see, you have to get up in the morning. There's no one, like pampering you. You have to get up 5:30, 5:45. The rouse bell is sitting in my ear. So you had to get up, make your bed, make your counterpane, go down and play games. Because now we give it as a choice, because I'm a mother of two kids. We give it a choice to kids whether they want to take up sports or they don't want to take up sports. But for us, it was a mandate. At 5:45, you have to brush your teeth, take your wash and go down and play your sports or cross country or whatever it is. And then come back, take a wash again and get ready and march. We used to march to the senior school and study, with the boys. So it was a very, very regimented kind of a thing. You can't just walk loosely. You have to march to school to study, march back to girls' school to have your lunch break, and then after lunch break it was again regimented. Then you had your sports, then you come back for your bath, you had to line up to take a shower. And because we were juniors, the 11th, 12th girls used to finish up all the hot water. So it used to be in rotation. Today I'm first bath, tomorrow I'm second bath and third bath. It was like that. So that taught you quite a lot, discipline, because nowadays I think we mollycoddle our kids. But if there's some regime, if there's some regimented routine, they become more disciplined. Then I read a lot of books because 80s and 90s was all about books. This new Archie's movie has come out. I was really nostalgic because we were fed on Archie Digest and, this whole Veronica Lodge and Betty. And so we grew up on Daniel Steele's and Sidney Sheldon's and Agatha Christie's and Ayn Rand's and, name it. All the books under the sun, we read all of that. So our generation, 80s, 90s kids, we read a lot. We were perennially on a book every 3, 4 days. So every 3, 4 days, we used to read a different book. Then after my 10th, my dad wrote a letter to me that I've got posted as the defense attaché of India to Saudi Arabia. Would you like to come with me? So I said yes, because I wanted to experience, what the life is all about abroad. So then 11th, 12th, I was studying in the Gulf. I was studying in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the International Indian School there. That was also a big, big learning experience, new cultures. We were traveling to different countries by road. We were going to like places, all the Gulf countries, whether it's Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt. Most of it we did by road. And that was really fascinating. We were like, okay, now we've crossed, we went to another country. My mom is like, this is a different country. So, seeing a different culture at that age, at the age of 16, that teaches you a lot. Then I pretty much, after my 12th, came back to India. My parents stayed back in Saudi Arabia because they had one more year left for my father's tenure. Then came back to India, did my graduation from Sophia College, Ajmer, and that was pretty regimented because it was a convent, right? And we had nuns there in the convent, so we used to. So there was no usual what you associate 80s, 90s kids with, the drugs and the smoking and partying and all. So it was none of that. So it was like a very, very stricter than a boarding school, because we used to get outings once in a fortnight, and that was also very measured, like come back within the 4 hours, you'll be issued a gate pass, and you come back, the gate pass has to be signed. So it was pretty regimented again. So it was a pretty elite college in the when I'm talking about this 96, 97, when I went to college. So again, it was pretty nice. And then I worked for a year with India Today Group when I finished my graduation in Delhi. And it was a good experience because suddenly you were protected. You've been boarding school, and then been in a foreign country, then again a boarding college, and now you're in the big bad world of corporate life. And it was the first job. I was 20 and a half when I took my first job. And we had to really work hard. We were given an area. I was in marketing and sales. So we were space selling, for the India Today group. So we were given an area, say like Karol Bagh, and Karol Bagh was is a huge, huge, huge area, and you had to make cold calls, ring up clients, and go to them and talk to them. But again, that way, I think I learned a lot about Delhi and being on your own, and doing things, and even getting a first salary check. It gives you a big high, that, oh, this is your hard-earned money. You don't have to ask your father and everything. And even, my boss asked me, are you sure you're a senior officer's daughter? It's not going to be easy. You're used to like a staff car and this and that, and you have to be out in the sun and knock people's doors. I said, no, I'm perfectly fine with that. That's the reason I'm here for the interview. So I worked there for a year, and then I got married, and I relocated to Kolkata. My husband is a doctor; he's a medical practitioner, and he has a very, very respected name in the medical fraternity because of the work that he did during the COVID-19 pandemic. He was in the forefront, and he and I and our friends, we run a low-cost dialysis center that during the pandemic we made it, the it was we were conducting dialysis for 50 rupees a session. So that is quite unprecedented, right from all the top journalists of the countries, covered this. NDTV, Ravish Kumar, everyone covered the phenomenal work that our unit actually did during the pandemic. So yeah, so I've been pretty much here as army kids. There's no sense of belonging. So when people ask you where you're from, so it's still a big, I still feel very confused because traditionally my parents are from UP, from Meerut, right? But then you've used to just go there for your holidays to meet your nanny and all that. You've not like studied there, you're not brought up there, so you can't really say that you're from there. So the only city I think I feel a sense of belonging is Calcutta, Kolkata now, which because I was about 21 when I came in here, and I've like spent more than 2 decades here. So it's given me a sense of purpose and a sense of identity. So the culture, I've been part of the corporate life here, the cultural life, and now the political side as well. So yeah, it has given me a sense of identity. Yeah,
She's so right. I think the 80s kids, and got the best exposure. And I think they
correct.
are much more mature than many, many, 90s and the 20s kids now. And
Yeah,
it's a different life altogether. And
and and we've seen the advent of computers also. I was in class 5 when computers were introduced to us. So we were the ones who saw the Doordarshan and all that, those programs. We were very small though. But we've seen like the Chitrahar and that Hum Log and those Nukkad and all that. And of course, in class 5, computers was introduced. So we have seen the advent of Star TV. I was in boarding school when this Santa Barbara, and we were allowed to watch The Bold and the Beautiful. So it was considered wow, like, and with our house mistresses, we used to watch those the Star News and these serials, MTV and everything. So 90s was all about the MTV and the Channel V and the Star TV and all that. Shah Rukh Khan. So literally, we were that phase that grew up on his films, right? And saw the advent of the internet much later, like I think 99, 2000 onwards. We've seen the advent of the internet, with those chat rooms and the messenger and the Yahoo Messenger. So we've seen it all. We've seen like Doordarshan. We've seen the radio also, because I don't remember much of the radio, but we were like very small when our father used to be like in Tanga Valley listening to that radio. So radio, then the Doordarshan, then the Star TV boom, the IT boom. We've seen the internet, right? And now it's a different thing. Now everything is in this phone, right? This mobile phone is where I have like put my I'm like sitting with you. So it's become a world, right? Everything is tap, tap, tap. And another thing, Rashi, I love traveling. I just love traveling. I think it teaches you so much, because last year I've decided like a couple of years ago that I should see 3 new countries a year. And somehow whatever way I've managed to tick that box, So last year it was Azerbaijan, Georgia, and yeah, Bangladesh. I've gone 7, 8 times for work, but I went to a new city. It was Sylhet, because I was invited to speak on Women's Day to at Sylhet and Dhaka for a conference. So yeah, I love traveling, exploring new cultures, and not just traveling for Instagram. I think more about seeing the culture. Like, show me the architecture, show me the culture, show me the food. I think the travel for me, it's just learning, meeting people, and experiencing the food, the culture, imbibing and kind of just savoring, the what architecture, learning about the history of the place, because every city is historic. You have to understand the history, and I think you can tell wonderful stories if you travel.
so there is a very valid point Saira is trying to tell us. इन्होंने ये कहीं नहीं बोला कि ये ट्रैवल सिखाने के लिए कर रहे हैं. इन्होंने ये बोला ये ट्रैवल सीखने के लिए कर रहे हैं. And
Yeah,
this is the mindset which I think most of us people of our age we've had over the years कि सीखना है. तो ये
right.
I think एक बहुत बड़ा difference है, and I think this is totally amazing, Saira. Coming to your next question. So you see, you've been very active into the corporate world, and then you are also a socialite, and then you're also an activist. You know the who's and who's of politics as well. So I want you to tell me that how does it happen to you? कैसे आप balance out करते हो? Let's
Hmm.
say.
I think, people have this. See, I joined politics. I have been a part of the political process, but it was my first electoral run in 2022. It was for a by election. So I was never a member of any political party or whatever it is. And so my party nominated me, and I defeated two major political parties. I came second. So it was, and these two are the major players of India, the two most prominent parties as of now. So, which is the BJP and the Congress. So I defeated both of them in my first electoral foray, in with a large number of votes. So when my political party nominated me, it came as a big surprise, because I was not a member of any political party. I've been working as an activist. But yeah, I would like to say one thing, Rashi, it is not easy. When people say what is it to be like, carry so many different designations and now you're in politics. So I said, see, uh, it's not for the faint-hearted. It really isn't, because the level of misogyny that you go through, right? You cannot keep everyone happy. There'll be comments about your clothes, right? Because I wear saris every second day, but Rashi, I also wear jeans. I also wear skirts, right? So now there can be someone who can just, pull out a picture from, like, say, Instagram, where probably I'm on a beach and I'm wearing shorts, right? And oh, wo to shorts pehenti hai, or oh, she wears your hijab, or things like that. So you see a lot of trolling. They feel that you cannot stand up for issues just because of your dress. And I think that is one thing that women in public life really face. It is the patriarchy and the misogyny, your dress sense, and I think the conversation about which bag you carry, it is so frivolous. Yeah. You have to understand that why can't a woman who's been working on a life afford to buy a handbag or wear good clothes? Why do you need to look frumpy? Why do you need to wear chappal and look frumpy to be a politician? So I don't believe in pretenses. I decided that I will be what I am. And that is the reason my party nominated me, not just because I'm in politics. Okay, doesn't mean that I will show a different picture of who I am, right? So here, that is one thing that yes, every second day I wear saris, but here I have another life where I'm traveling, so I'm not going to wear saris and be taking flights and traveling all over the world. I will wear practically like my jeans or my track pants or whatever it is, right? So the idea is be yourself, be authentic. I think that is a thing कि जो आप हैं वही दिखाइए. कोई और ढकोसला करने की जरूरत नहीं है, कोई और ड्रामा करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि आप क्योंकि अभी राजनीति में हैं तो आपको एक अलग छवि दिखानी है. It's not required. You need to be yourself. But it's not for the faint-hearted. बहुत बहुत कड़ी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. You have to like accept bouquets and brickbats, and there are a lot of expectations on your shoulders. So it is very, very, very tough. That's what I'm saying. But I'm glad I made that journey. It has been rewarding. It has been fulfilling. But आसान नहीं है, ये मैं कहना चाह रही हूँ.
बिल्कुल भी आसान नहीं है. और मुझे आपसे ये पूछना है कि लोग तो मिनट से पहले आपको डिफेम करने लगते हैं, यू नो, हाउ डू यू स्लीप एट नाइट? ऐसा कौन सा सक्सेस मंत्रा होगा आपके पास, या आपने ऐसी कौन सी बात खुद को समझाई होगी? ये आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू आर सेइंग दैट वी हैव टू बी ऑथेंटिक, बट हैंडलिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर डे where you've been defamed for no reason, you know. So, because there are a lot of people out there, because I am also exposed to a lot of social, media and social groups.
Trolling and everything, yeah.
Yeah, कुछ भी बोलते हैं लोग.
So I think one thing that is very clear, you have to grow a very thick skin. And ये अभी की बात नहीं है. I grow very thick skin, say like about 8-9 years when I started coming to public life. I've been a regular on the national TV debates on almost all the channels. Last night I was with Arnab on Republic. I was on CNN News 18. Talking about the Maldives row. Then I was talking about the Bilkis Bano thing. So, there will be people, you have to understand that a lot of stuff that is coming in is from people who don't have any particular ID or, they are trolls, right? They're trolls, and sometimes these trolls are paid to do their job. They're bots. So you have to understand that it's coming from that place, and you have to still be what you are, give out your point. But one thing I've learned is the how you say it without getting into legal loopholes. So anyone who's very opinionated and puts out a political opinion out there, you have to be understand how it can come back to you. So you without naming the person, you can say A, B, C, D went on so and so. So over the years, I've learned how to avoid the pitfalls, when not to get troubled on social media. Because, yeah, so one person, technically, everyone is away, a tweet away from detention. Today, you say something, somebody might not like it. So you have to also learn how to navigate that. I know it's a very tightrope walk, but one has to learn how to navigate that tightrope walk because you've chosen that path, and you have to avoid getting into the legal fracas and the all those legal things, and avoid getting into trouble. That's all.
Yeah, rightly put by her. You have to learn, honestly. सीखना पड़ता है खुद को मजबूत बनाने. And that, I think, wonderfully put, Saira. Okay, so what is your message, about this new contemporary, Indian women on the global arena? क्या छवि जा
Hmm.
रही है? Because you've been at various international conferences.
Right,
Let's.
right. So in November, I represented India at the NAM conference, a non-aligned movement. So India has not been very active there, but now I think in the past we've played a very pivotal role. So there were a lot of women from East Africa and the global South, and so many South Asian countries. I met a lot of women from different countries. So there was a woman delegate from Iran. So I did ask her, how are things there? So she said, things are difficult, but it's not so much as the Western media portrays. So that is a big learning curve for me to, understand from the Iranians themselves what it is like. Because I said, is this dress thing, is this compulsory? Is that compulsory? I heard it's not like women friendly. I had a lot of questions. So I did ask her. So there was a counterpart from Bangladesh, there was a speaker from Pakistan, and so many different countries they'd come in from. So it was a big learning curve. So my host told me not to speak about your government or our government or even about LGBTQ. They told me, you speak, we want to learn about the women of your country. We want to learn about how you all are there. So I didn't want to post a very fake picture, very rosy. I wanted it to be balanced. So I spoke about evolution of Indian women from independence to contemporary times because I felt it is a contemporary topic. So while I was speaking, there were the slides that were showing different women leaders from the corporate, political, social field who have contributed immensely to India's growth so that they can resound. So I said now the age of getting married has been increased from 18 to 21. And I said, we have a long way to go because some of the cities are considered really unsafe for women. Like Delhi is a crime capital. But, it's not that we have not made progress. We've made huge progress because now sex determination is banned, right? Female feticide is banned, and so many good things that have happened. So when you're out, it is important to portray a good picture of your country. It's very important. But at the same time, it shouldn't be that you show that everything is perfect. So you do have to talk about both the sides. You have to talk about the positive side and you have to talk about the challenges that women face, right? So I did tell them that now that triple talaq has got abolished, which is good because any draconian law or anything that is there, has to be, fought against, be it any community. So they wanted to understand like what is happening in the country, and I'm glad I got the opportunity. And yeah, so I think we are making progress. But if you see the crime rate and if you see domestic violence in India, dowry might have been abolished legally, but it is still practiced socially, right? So once we do away with these really archaic social customs of dowry and all that, then I'll feel that we have kind of progress. And this want of a boy child, I've seen families who have girl children, and suddenly after 10, 12 years, they get a brother. So I understand the reason why suddenly, there's a new birth in the family when ladies in her 40s. So this want of a male child is again stems from feudalism, So unless until we ourselves show our children that boys and girls, if not equality, we can give them equity, which means equal opportunities. We all need to set the example first, and then society will take cue. I think that is important.
हाँ, करीब से झांके ना तो सायरा आई थिंक बहुत कुछ हमारे परिवारों में ही मिलता है, you know.
Yeah, that is
Tend
what I'm
to
saying. Yeah,
tend to ignore because we don't want any controversies for ourselves. हम वो
correct.
फीलिंग में नहीं रहना चाहते हैं कि वी आर नॉट एक्सेप्टेड इन द फैमिली, बिकॉज अगर हम आवाज उठाएंगे तो हमें ही निकाल दिया जाएगा.
बिल्कुल,
And I think,
बिल्कुल,
yeah,
absolutely.
so we आई एम फ्रॉम लखनऊ, और अभी भी लखनऊ में वो ट्रेंड
Okay.
है कि
अभी भी है.
अभी भी है कि बॉयज को मतलब बेटी की शादी,
Preference दिया जाता है. हाँ.
of course they still follow, smaller cities. So but ठीक है, टाइम लगेगा, चेंज हो जाएगा, hopefully. We are just hopeful about many things. So
हाँ.
okay, we started with once we started your podcast, you mentioned about the dialysis part. I
Yeah,
want
yeah.
you to tell me about your participation in. Saira, tell us about your participation in Kolkata Swastha Sankalp, your work with the low cost dialysis center, and the impact it has, on the people who've been like in problem and who've been facing the problem not getting proper dialysis. Let's hear.
Sure. So, you see, now my husband, Dr. Fuad Halim, he practices appropriate medicine. And perhaps he is one of the only doctors who still charges 50 rupees for a consultation, medical, which is unheard of because he feels, and he left a corporate job. He had set up the emergency wing in Apollo, Gleneagles, but he left it to set up his own practice and also uh, practice appropriate medicine, which is not practiced in India. If you see, a lot of hospitals have become very corporatized. There are these targets, when it's not even needed, they'll be like, ye kara lo, wo kara lo. I'm not saying everybody does it, but that is the culture. Moment you enter a corporate hospital, you feel the bill running. So, abhi jo garib hai, aside the government hospitals, which are not in really great condition, um, कहाँ पे जाएंगे? Where will these underprivileged people go? You know, today you go for a dialysis session, it is not less than 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 rupees single session. So if we can like ideate a way कि जो ये patients होते हैं dialysis के, where they can come to a center which is hygienic. So पहले तो you have to cut your costs, So ours is a very no-frill organization. We don't have an air conditioner. We don't have any fancy, those kind of facilities. Yeah, but it's hygienic. You're getting food. We have someone to cook food. It is we cut down costs that way. We have friends who help us out. There are a lot of people who participate and donate to the center and everything. So we have a whole unit running, but बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जो अपना time या अपना passion देते हैं unit में. So yes, so I think it's all of us are doing whatever we can for the unit. अपने तरीके से, we are trying to play a part. But yeah, you should talk to him at some time to get the medical, the perspective of how it is being run on how it is to sustain it. So he'll be the best person to answer it because he's the doctor in command there. So
I think he will be our next guest on a podcast because
yeah,
because
correct.
50 रुपए में this is commendable work.
Yeah.
मतलब कहाँ भी तो मिलेगा आज के टाइम में 50 रुपए में आपको, if you're getting a service which is saving your life, this is
Correct.
commendable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, Saira. Okay, tell me, see, you are a writer and you also promote democratic and secular principles. Now, you tell me, what is your vision about it and what are your future plans? Let's hear.
Okay. So yeah, so I've been writing opinion column for India Today. I've written for Gulf News. I've written for the Print. I've written for CNN News 18. I've written for the Sunday Guardian. So in my own way, I try and be in forums. I do promote a lot of seasoned authors as well as new authors in getting their books, marketed. I've hosted events and launched books, down the years. So I think literature is my passion, and that's what I try and do because, एक कला है. It is our Sanskriti. We have to promote this oneness and this interdiversity, because if we just impose on one language, one food, one culture, one thing, then India is known for its diversity, and the diversity is its strength. So agar ye diversity hat jayegi, so our uniqueness will also go, right? So it's very important that we maintain that, the spirit of brotherhood को कायम रखना है, जो इतने सालों से हम लोग रखे हैं भाईचारा, उसको कायम रखना बहुत ही जरूरी है. And I think we all, we should do whatever, aside whatever politics is happening around you, you as an individual should not change.
Absolutely right. What are we doing on a bit? हम अपनी तरफ से
Yeah.
क्या ऐड कर रहे हैं, और जो आसपास हो रहा है वो होने दीजिए, पर आप क्या कर रहे हो? Very nice.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
Very nicely explained, Saira. Okay, what is your one very, important message to the communities out there? Over to you.
Okay. So important message is be authentic, follow your spirit, follow your dreams, because by the time you know it, we all wouldn't have the age or the thing to do it. But like start somewhere and try, because it's very easy to talk about, oh, we went to this place and that place, attend this party. कुछ अपना एक थोड़ा सा, नहीं कोई moral lecture नहीं है, just if we can just take some social responsibility to make the world better. Even just say that, you volunteer to donate your blood for a good cause. अगर एक छोटा cause कर लें, birthday पे अगर थोड़ा donation दे दें to the underprivileged. So I think छोटे छोटा हम लोग एक contribution अगर कर लें, we can just make lives better. And अगर हम लोग parties की photos दे रहे हैं, अगर एक photo हमने कोई social initiative का दे दिया, what is wrong in it? So I think we have the capacity. Like I've been meeting a lot of young kids in their early 20s, late teens, and they're so passionate. I'm amazed to see, so intelligent, very politically conscious of what is happening, and desirous of making a change. So ये मैंने देखा है ये हमारे यूथ में कि वो zeal है, वो जज्बा है कि कुछ करें. So I think we can do a lot, in our own ways. Yeah. So यही आप लोग करते रहिए, अच्छा काम करिए, enjoy your life, but also live it with passion, also live it with some social responsibility, and keep striving hard and do your best.
Okay, you've been coming on the television regularly.
Right.
You remember the first day you came on the television? What was the
Yeah.
experience like? What was the feeling like? Let's hear.
Okay. So it was the first, I think probably the first channel, I think was, uh, a channel from West Bengal actually called Taza TV. So it was a very big, it was like a one-on-one interview. And then what happens is one thing leads to the other. So when I started coming on that channel, then there were the other national channels who started getting in touch. So, it just, I've been a regular with Arnab debates. I used to be flown down to Bombay for the big Sunday debate, or whatever, whether he agrees with me or not agrees with me. But it used to be quite a nice experience, meeting people from, even if you don't agree with the political ideology, I think it was a learning experience, just understanding how the mind works and which side of the fence they are, what is their political viewpoint. So yeah, it's been a big learning experience, that all I'll say.
Okay, so what's coming up for 2024? Any future new plans? Let's hear.
Plans तो बहुत हैं. अभी elections आने वाला है, so let's see what's going to happen. I don't know how this whole alliance thing is going to work out. So we're just waiting and watching. We are just like a cog in the wheel, where we're trying to like do our best in whatever capacity we can. I have a book in the offing, so hopefully it will be out this year, and a lot of travel plans ahead. So this is it, and hopefully the new year will bring in a lot of light lot of prosperity and happiness and good health for all.
Okay, our very beautiful Saira Halim, बहुत कुछ इन्होंने हमें सिखाया. इनका email ID भी available है post पे. In case you want to speak to her or invite her, please get in touch with her. All her details are available. सायरा, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्राना है कि आप आए.
Thank you. Thank you.